Hello, everyone. I want to talk to you today about this Mercury retrograde in Pisces that is happening this Thursday, 26th of February. And I'm Samantha Ray. I'm a Western tropical astrologer, and we are using whole sign houses today. Okay, so Mercury is going retrograde again, and this is a usual thing. It happens about 3 times a year, and it's really a time for us to slow down. I mean, we're not always like with everything in life, like we can't just go, 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 go. It's really a time for us to slow down and relook and reconnect with things and see if we're going in the right direction. So it's a really necessary part of life, and it doesn't have to be like so hyped up that life has to stop. But knowing when these transits are occurring can help us prepare for them, and especially for things that can happen during Mercury retrograde, which we'll talk about in a second. Okay, so let's talk about the dates. It's happening this Thursday, 22 degrees Pisces. So that would mean if you were born on the 12th or 13th of March, that this would be, activating your chart there. So Mercury would be conjunct your natal sun at that degree. And obviously it will affect you the most. And it's going to retrograde all the way back to about 8 degrees Pisces, and then it will go direct on the 20th of March. Let me just confirm that. It's going to go direct, 20th of March at 8 degrees Pisces, same day as the equinox, which is when the sun moves into Aries. So anyone basically born between the 26th of February and the 12th, 13th of March will feel this the most. That's degrees 8 to 22 degrees Pisces. But, obviously also if you have personal planets in Pisces, also if the mutable signs, Pisces, Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, fall in one of your angular houses, 1st, 4th, 7th, 10th. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you don't know where your planets fall, look down below. I can do a reading for you, or you can just generate a free birth chart online. So many free websites out there. Use whole sign houses for these purposes. Okay, so Mercury's retrograde, the general kind of climate that we're in now is we're in Pisces season, right? The sun is in Pisces, Venus is in Pisces, Mars is moving into Pisces next week, I think. So, and obviously Mercury's there. So there's a lot of Pisces energy right now. And what is Pisces? Pisces is this kind of dreamy, ethereal, sensitive, emotional, idealistic, poetic sign. And so we're in this watery territory right now. And that's kind of like the undercurrent. Okay. Also, we're in the middle of eclipse season. We had the Aquarius eclipse last week. We have Virgo one next week, lunar eclipse, which is visible in America. So we're right in the eclipse portal. It's intense. And what else? Yeah. So there's a lot going on right now. And what else did I want to say? And okay, so let's talk about what does that actually mean. I mean, Mercury is the messenger, the planet of communication. It rules everything related to communication, how we communicate with others, how we think, how we speak, how we write. So, emails, texts, speech, thoughts. It also rules transportation. It rules short-term travel, so like your everyday kind of travel, and travel plans. It rules our intellect and contracts, commerce, business, computers. Often during Mercury retrograde, you will have like some kind of glitch in your computer or your phone or something. Like not almost always happens to me. It's like, at one of the Mercury retrogrades. Also, Mercury's retrograding in the water signs this year. So obviously first now in Pisces. In June, it will be in Cancer, and in October, it will be in Scorpio. So it's a very emotional retrogrades, okay? Emotional, watery elements. And so what can happen? So Mercury has this apparent backward motion in the sky. When it's moving forward, it's able to do its things mostly as well as it can, depending on what sign it's in. When it's moving backwards, it slows down. And it's necessary, okay? It slows down. It's asking for us to retake a look at things and see where maybe we can, improve them or do something in a different way. As you probably know, it's all the rewords, relook, refine, reconnect, revise, retreat. Okay, so we're going back and we're reviewing something, depending on, as a general theme, and also depending more specifically where it is in your chart. But yeah, in general, communication things can take a knock, right? Like, be careful that you really want to send the text message. Be careful what you say. Check things, recheck things. You don't really want to be signing contracts or starting new businesses during these transits, but sometimes you have to. Sometimes you need to move, right? And you have to sign a lease. And so I've had to do that before, and it just happens. But just make sure you check everything properly. Um, so that is the general kind of significations of Mercury. So let's look specifically for your rising sign and how it might affect you on a more personal level. So let's open this up. Okay, so we are going to start here with, let me just move this. We're going to start here with Aries Rising. Okay, Aries Rising, you can see here that Mercury is in your 12th house. Okay, so the 12th house is ruled by, is inhabited by Pisces, right? Pisces inhabits the 12th house. And so this is where the sun is now, and all these other planets, Mercury, Venus, Mars to be soon. There's a lot of energy focused on this 12th house. Okay, so in the 12th house, we're looking at 12th house is all about your kind of your mental health, retreat, self-undoing, ways that you are self-destructive to yourself. Okay. It's it's also like kind of chronic illnesses, it's isolation, it's yeah, basically your deeper kind of subconscious world. Okay. And so it's also, a spiritual house. It's a house of gurus and ashrams and retreat. So, would be a good time to take some time for yourself and retreat. Maybe you're re-looking at it as spiritual practice, or kind of a practice that helped you with your mental health that you did before, and you're going to take it up again, like meditation, yoga, journaling, whatever rocks your boats. Something that has worked for you before and that you are thinking about looking at again. Retreat is good. Spending some time alone, reflecting on how you may be holding yourself back in life, right? And these kind of deeply ingrained patterns that I think stuff is coming up for you to relook at and to examine. And it's not always easy, but it's important. Okay, let's move on. Taurus Rising. Here you are. Mercury is here in your 11th house with the conglomerate of other planets. Mars also to be in here soon. Okay, so there's big emphasis on this 11th house, your house of friendship, community, your hopes, dreams, aspirations. Okay, so with Mercury here, it could be something like reconnecting old friendships. It could be misunderstandings in friendships, misunderstandings. Mercury is not really at home in the sign of Pisces. It's kind of fallen there. So Mercury is this logical, rational, thinking like the vibe. And Pisces is the complete opposite. It's subjective, it's ethereal, it's dreamy, it's, just fluid. And so Mercury can't really think or be clear in Pisces. So, maybe you're re-looking at some of your hopes and dreams, these big ideals of yours, and reevaluating them and reconsidering them. Maybe, like I said, reconnecting with friendships. There could also be some confusion, as you navigate this part of your life, but clarity will come, ultimately. And that's the point of these retrogrades, is to help you get a deeper understanding of certain situations. Okay, let's go. Gemini Rising. Gemini Rising, this is happening for you in your 10th house. So this is an angular house. This is important. Mercury's here. This is your house of profession. This is your highest potential. It's your reputation in the world. If you are not working, it's your public image. It's who you are in the world, how people, what you're known for is what I'm trying to say. Okay, so here, yeah, I mean, in terms of a career perspective, there could be stuff like coming up from the past or review, in your career. You could be reconnecting with colleagues and things like that from the past. Some old problems that you were experiencing in your career before could be resurfacing, something to do with your career, your workplace. Um, yeah, you could be reevaluating some of your career goals and things like that. Um, yeah, and you might just there might be some misunderstandings, maybe with your boss or in your career in general. Okay, great. Let's go. We got Cancer next. Cancer. Mercury goes retrograde in your um, ninth house. Okay, so this is your ninth house. This is your house of study, and it's your house of higher mind subjects, philosophy, religion, travel, publishing, journeys. Okay, Mercury's retrograde here. So obviously, before you book that foreign overseas trip, double check everything. Glitches may occur. Um, yeah, studies, programs, maybe you're rethinking about specific study courses you want to do. Maybe you looking back on things that you've studied before in terms of higher mind subjects or religion or, just university even, and you're reconsidering and thinking about those kind of topics. Um, Perhaps you have mm, yeah, perhaps you're reconnecting with some foreign associates that you have overseas. Yes, I shall say that. But this part of your chart is activated with all of these planets in Pisces here. So there would be a lot of activity kind of happening around here, especially with Mars coming in next week too. Okay, let's move on to Leo. Leo, this is all happening in your eighth house. And here is Mercury here in your eighth house. And you can see all these other planets in your eighth house too, with Mars to be entering next week. So it's quite a big focus on this eighth house of yours. And the eighth house is, it's quite a heavy house, okay, but it's also got to do with investments. It's got to do with debts, taxes. It's your fears. It's your shared resources, especially your partners, money you get from other people, basically. Okay, it's kind of, yeah. So there might be some misunderstandings with regard to shared resources or investments. If you're doing your taxes, double check when you're doing them that you're filling everything in correctly, maybe get a second opinion. Um, yeah, I mean, it's also like a kind of psychological house. You may be like maybe you've had therapy before or something, or you have some kind of deeper issues that are coming up for reflection and that you're working through. So journaling might be good. Um, yeah, just taking time to retreat a little and look at those issues if they do come up for healing. But yeah, I'd say that's about that for that house. Okay, let's go. Let's move on to Virgo, Virgo. So, in all happening in your seventh house, yeah. So this is also an angular house. It's your house of your closest partnerships, more marriage or long-term love relationships. So a lot of energy focused here on this Pisces area of your chart. Okay, so um, yeah, so it could be potential misunderstandings with your partners. It's also business partners, clients. So, could be some misunderstandings, some miscommunications. Could be, yeah, maybe some issues in those relationships that are coming up again that haven't quite like sorted themselves out. That need to be re-looked at and what's the word? Like just re-reflected on, if you know what I mean. Um, they haven't been resolved properly, so they need more work done on them. Um, yeah, I would say, yeah, just reviewing these relationships. There might be, yeah, problems that had come up before that might be coming up again now for reflection. But it's an important area of your chart. It's angular, so yes. Okay. Let's go on to Libra Rising. This all happened in your sixth house, Libra, with Mercury here, along with this other conglomerate of planets, Mars to be into your sixth house soon from next week, if I'm correct. And so this is your sixth house of health. And it's your everyday work that you do. It's the kind of labor that you put in. Um, it is your how you serve, right? And your daily routine. So, it's also the people you work with, your or potential employees. So potential misunderstandings, miscommunications. There may be some health issues that you had previously that might come up again, or you might be thinking about them and ways that you can improve, or you may be going back to some kind of methods that you used for your healing before that you think, oh, maybe I should try that again. Um, Reflecting on, yeah, your routine and ways that you can improve it. You might be going back to kind of things that you did in the past and even your work life, your work style. Um, Also your pets, your pets live in this house. So, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, hopefully that pets are going to be okay. But um, yeah, maybe just like um, yeah, just watching your health and just noticing if anything comes up for review, basically. But potential problems or miscommunications with work colleagues or employees, if you have any. Okay, let's go. We got Scorpio. This is all happening in your fifth house. Here's Mercury there with Venus, the Sun, and soon to be Mars. This fifth house of Pisces is activated in your chart for the next, well, has been and is for the next month. Okay. So, what is the fifth house? It's about your joy, your creativity, pleasures, your pleasures in life. So maybe you are, it's art, it's creativity, it's the way you express yourself, it's your children. Maybe you're reconnecting with your children in some way. Maybe you are finding an old hobby or an old creative outlet that you used to really enjoy, that you are wanting to explore again. Um, Maybe you are reconnecting with a past lover. Exciting or not, I don't know. Um, yeah, just something along that line. Um, Potential miscommunication with lovers, with this Mercury being here. Um, yeah, okay. Let's move on. So we have got Sagittarius rising. This is happening for you in your fourth house of home. It's an angular house with all these planets conglomerated here. Okay, Mercury retrograde in the fourth house. This is your home. This is your roots. This is your family, right? Where you live now, your living space. So maybe you are refurbishing or restructuring or wanting to reorganize things or rethinking about where you want to place things in your house or where you want to live. You could be, yeah, maybe there is some like old issues coming up with your family or your parents. Maybe you're reconnecting with your parents if you haven't been in touch for a while. Um, Maybe you're reviewing and thinking about your childhood and your roots and your ancestry and how it's, made you the person that you are today. Just revisiting there might just be some old things that are unearthed during this time for review. Okay, let's move on to Capricorn. Capricorn Rising, this is happening for you in your third house. As you can see, Mercury is retrograde here. And, the third house is our intellect, how we communicate. It's our neighborhood. So potential miscommunication with your neighbors, people in your neighborhood, people in your everyday community. Maybe you are reconnecting like with some neighbors that you have kind of lost touch with, or like people in your community. Maybe you are, it's also writing, maybe taking up writing again. Be careful, just double check on your short travels that, your tires are all good and everything's fine. I mean, it's just everyday travels. But yeah, this also rules your house of short travels, your neighborhood. Yes, so your connection with your people in your neighborhood, technical skill. Yeah. I mean, also computers, your technical equipment, your phone. Sometimes things are out of our control, and during Mercury retrograde, there's going to be glitches probably, but you can do what you can do to try to avoid things where you can. Okay, let's move on. Now we've got Aquarius Rising. This is happening for you in your second house. There's Mercury. It's retrograde. We've got Venus in your second house, which is quite nice. For money, Venus is in Pisces here, and she really likes to be in Pisces. You've got the Sun, and then you've got Mars going to move into there later soon. So we've got a big focus on your finances this month, and this is your finances, as in the money in your bank, your resources, your possessions, and our money is intricately linked to our self-worth, right? So, yeah, so I think, yeah, it's also our values. So maybe you're rethinking or reconsidering what's valuable to you, and you're looking at your life and things that you have, and what is actually valuable? What is it just money, or is there a deeper sense of value in things? Maybe you are um, thinking you're reviewing your self-worth, and how you feel about yourself, and what does self-worth mean to you, your self-esteem. Um, Maybe you are, let's say, yeah, thinking, yeah, it's also the foods we eat, right? So maybe you are going back to an old way of eating that made you feel better or just gel with you. Maybe you're rethinking your eating habits. Also, I want to say your saving and spending style. Maybe you rehashing an old way or reviewing what is maybe a better way to save, or how you would like to spend less, something like that. Something about your finances is under the spotlight. And then finally, we've got Pisces rising. This is all happening for you as you in your first house. This is like Mercury retrograde here in your first house with all this conglomerate of planets. I mean, the first house is you. It is how you show up in the world, how people see you. It's your outlook on life. Maybe you're reviewing, your outlook on life. Maybe you're rethinking what your view is of the world. It's your body, it's your personality, your appearance. So Mercury retrograding here is just it's asking you to slow down, and it's asking you to rethink some things in your life that maybe you want to improve or do things differently, because that's what it's really about. It's a time for us to slow down and reorder things and rethink about things. There might be some recurring thoughts that happen. Um, in general, with these retrogrades, we can experience delays, recurrences, kind of returns of prior conditions, and just kind of unexpected events. So, you know, it's happening in your sign. So it's going to affect you the most. And I mean the general significations of it. Be aware of all of communication related themes that I spoke about earlier in the video. But it really is, it's not a time where we have to stop life. It's a time for us to just sit back, reflect, be aware of the energies. We are in the middle of eclipse season. So um, let me just switch this off. Just to, yeah, just go easy with yourself. I would highly recommend most of us, if you haven't already, starting a meditation practice or doing some kind of work, spiritual work that will help to ground you through the energies of this year, which, if you watch anything about astrology, is wild. But I will post more soon, and I will do not a weekly, I'll do a monthly astrology reading, which will come out next week. So thank you so much for joining me, and thank you. Goodbye.